Partogram. A partogram looks something like this. Many students feel daunted by all the lines and sections, and in fact this is a highly requested video. So we're going to break it down bit by bit, and hopefully this will make the partogram easier to understand. So first of all, a partogram, or partograph, is a graphical representation recording the active phase of the first stage of labour, which has been created for us by the WHO. It is also a decision-making aid to assess delay in labour. Now, before we delve any further into this video, you first need to watch my video on the stages of labour to understand what's going on here. So here's a link to go straight to that video. Okay, so starting from the top, we've got the patient's demographics. So we've got her name, gravida, the number of times she was pregnant, and para, the number of children she has, her ID card number, the date and time of admission, and the time she ruptured her membranes, that is when her waters broke. Next up, we have a chart to indicate the fetal heart rate. On my CTG videos, we've discussed everything you need to know about the fetal heart, but essentially every hour, the fetal heart is auscultated and indicated over here on the partogram. The regularity of monitoring depends on the case, of course, as we've discussed in those videos. Next up, we've got the assessment of amniotic fluid and moulding. When it comes to the amniotic fluid, we take into account the colour, odour and quantity. Is the fluid clear and straw-coloured, which is normal, or is it blood-stained or slightly blood-stained with a light pinkish colour? This can be a sign of antepartum hemorrhage. Or is it meconium-stained, with light meconium or thick pea-coloured amniotic fluid, which is a greenish colour? This can be a sign of fetal distress. What about the odour? Is it foul-smelling, which can mean chorioamnionitis? And what was the volume of amniotic fluid seen? What about the moulding? So what's that? So moulding refers to the overlapping of the fetal skull bones at their sutures. This allows for a decrease in the fetal skull diameter, aiding a vaginal delivery. However, in some cases, excessive overlapping occurs, which is abnormal. This is classified as follows depending on the degree of overlapping of the fetal skull bones. And this can be a sign of cephalopelvic disproportion, where there is a mismatch between the size of the fetal head and the maternal pelvis. Okay, great. So now the next section is describing the cervical dilatation and descent of the fetal head. In this section, we have these large boxes at the bottom indicating time in hours, 0 to 10 on the y-axis indicating centimeters of cervical dilatation, recorded with a cross symbol, and descent of the fetal head by means of the station, and this is recorded with a circle symbol over here. So, as a quick recap, station is described to be at 0 at the level of the ischial spines. -1 refers to 1 centimeter above the ischial spines, and so on, and +1 refers to 1 centimeter below the ischial spines. Okay, so back to the partogram again. So, this vaginal assessment is performed every 4 hours, unless otherwise indicated. Now, as a vague idea to understand appropriate progress in labour, we should expect that the cervix dilates by 1 centimeter per hour in nulliparous women and 2 centimeters per hour in multiparous women. Therefore, once a woman is in labour, an alert and action line are drawn on the partogram as we can see here, helping us understand if there is adequate progress. So, as appropriately named, the alert line indicates that things are progressing slowly and we should be on the alert. But then once we have skipped the action line, then action needs to be taken, such as augmentation of labour or plans to change the mode of delivery to caesarean section due to slow progress. Next up, we've got the contractions. So the boxes are shaded depending on how many contractions the mother is experiencing every 10 minutes and how long each contraction lasts. This assessment is performed every hour. So this is an example of the contraction assessment being filled in on a partogram. So first of all, the number of boxes filled up are indicating the number of contractions in 10 minutes during that hour. So I have 3 boxes filled in here, so we've got 3 contractions in 10 minutes, then 4 boxes, so 4 contractions in 10 minutes, and so on. Now the boxes filled in with dots represent contractions lasting less than 20 seconds. Boxes filled with diagonal lines represent contractions lasting 20 to 40 seconds, and boxes which are completely shaded represent contractions lasting more than 40 seconds. Below the contractions, we also note down if the mother is on syntocinon, that is synthetic oxytocin, and indicate the dose. Here we'll write down any drugs which may have been administered or any fluids. And lastly, we take note of the maternal observations, including pulse and blood pressure, temperature, urine dipstick, as well as urine volume. Maternal heart rate is noted every hour, while the other observations are noted every 4 hours. Other details are also noted on the partogram, such as time of delivery of the fetus, time of delivery of the placenta, the mechanism of delivery, that is if it was a vaginal delivery, instrumental or cesarean delivery, as well as postpartum details, including estimated blood loss, any perineal tears, and observations of the baby once delivered, including Apgar score. I hope you found this video helpful. As a follow-up, I'll be creating another video with case examples using the partogram. Like and subscribe.